Okay, welcome to Introduction to Dreamweaver, Class 9. We have crossed over the hump. We're on the downhill slide now, past the halfway point. And I want to just make sure we're all up to speed on everything. Last week we reviewed lessons 1 through 8 main ideas. We worked with extensions. We explored the color scheme designer, and I walked through the creation of the midterm website. The homework was to complete the online midterm. That midterm will be closing at midnight. I am aware of the fact that question 6 needs to be adjusted, so that is taken care of. Before we go on to today's subject, which is going to be multimedia, I want to see if there are any questions. No questions from Anna. Thank you. Okay. Good. So, before I jump into multimedia, this is the perfect opportunity for me to talk to you about a couple of things. I'm going to go back to my home page, and I'm going to come down here where it says Multimedia Showcase. And just to share with you that our Interactive Media Design major focuses on having a broad set of skills that prepare you for the job market within the field of digital media. And within the Interactive Media Design certificate, you learn a lot of aspects of web design, and here's some examples of some of my students' work from earlier classes. You can see here a little video of some of the content. This individual is now working for O'Reilly & Associates. We have other people who are also doing a lot of my students are doing independent contracting work, but some are also working for local companies. So I want you to explore the Multimedia Showcase. There are even some student interviews there, and in addition to web design, it talks about animation, video production as well. So the certificate, of course, is all, the information on the certificate is all available on the SRJC website under Digital Media Programs. And it's the one certificate we have at the JC that is both a certificate and a major. So you might want to just check the specifics out of that. I'm putting the link down here in the chat window. And one of the things that is important for you to do if you are considering a digital media certificate is looking at the course sequence and make sure that you're prepared for your next set of classes, because the schedule, I would imagine, is going to be the next couple of weeks that the opportunity for early, for the earliest, whatever they're called, registers can get their classes. So you want to make sure that you look at this list. Okay? So with that being said, let's go back to our Dreamweaver specifications, Class 9, adding flash video and sound content. There's quite a lot to say about adding video, and it happens to be one of the subjects that is the most moving target in multimedia, because of the fact that, as most of you probably know, Apple and Adobe got into their big tense standoff last year where Apple said Flash is dead and Adobe said no, it's not, and they went back and forth. And so the first thing that I want to let you know is that Flash is by no means dead. It is used in several respects now, more than ever. And one has to do with gaming, the other has to do with video. because Flash videos is one of the best codecs, and codec stands for compression, decompression. It's one of the best programs to compress digital video, and yeah, I know Apple said so, and even Apple can be wrong sometimes. But the Flash video compression algorithm is very good. It provides high quality video at a small file size. So that's why Flash video is still used by most all of the major websites, whether it be CBS or the NFL Sports, etc., etc. They all still focus on Flash video. Maybe not so much Flash animations anymore. So that's an area that I would concede Flash has seen its day. Okay? So with that in mind, let's take a look at how we're going to insert Flash content into a web page. And what I've got here is I've got my banner.html file from the Lesson 10 folder of our textbook, Dreamweaver CS6 Digital Classroom. And it's basically constructed based on the ideas that we've been using for the last couple of weeks, working with these files, a fixed, centered, with horizontal menu, all that stuff you guys are professionals at this point. On this sidebar here, you'll see there's this div called div sidebar add. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a Swift into that sidebar. By the way, Swift stands for shockwave format, and that's what the output is. That's what the output is for the Flash animations that we create. So we're going to see there's several ways that you can input the Flash animations onto a web page. And we see there's already a div that's set up over here, so just putting a container in the sidebar is great. And you'll see I can do several different things. I'm going to show you 3 different ways to do it. I can select Insert, and I can go to Media, and I can choose Flash SWF. And you'll see, by the way, in my Insert Media Flash Insert Media menu, there are some choices that you probably don't have. These are choices that have been, there's an upgrade for people who have their CS6 through the cloud, and you won't see some of these HTML5 video, HTML5 audio, or Edge Animate Composition unless you have an update through the cloud. And speak to Adobe about that, not to me. But I can select Insert Flash SWF, and then I could point to my Assets folder where we see I have this sidebar add. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is I can use my Media tab from my Insert bar, and you'll see one of the choices right here is Insert Flash also. It does the exact same thing. I can go to the sidebar add inside of the Assets folder. The third one is a little different, and it's one that we haven't explored yet. It's related to a panel that we haven't explored, and it's the Assets panel. Now, I've got my Assets panel docked with my files and database. I've customized my workspace a little bit. But if you don't see your Assets panel, all you have to do is select Window and choose Assets. So what the Assets panel has, it has a way of organizing all of your content that's within your website according to images, color schemes, URLs, and when I say color schemes, I mean all the colors that are being used on your site, shockwave file formats, Flash movies, videos, scripts like JavaScripts, templates, which we have not worked on yet, but we will, library items, which we also haven't worked on, and these Flash files. So what I'm going to do, and this is really easy, all I have to do is select this sidebar and drag it right onto here. And now I can say flash add. And the reason I'm doing this is that this makes it easier for accessibility aspects, because it is an object that's being embedded. We do want to provide it with a title. And I click on that, and we see that it fits into this window, and we can actually see it play if we choose live. Really easy. And there's a little ad, and it played once. I can click live off, and you can see there's some controls that I can access down over here in the properties panel. I can choose to either loop it or not, to autoplay it or not, and to change what's called the W mode, and I'll talk to you about that in a second. First of all, you might have noticed that with the looping, there's a check mark there, but when we watch this, it just does one spin and then it stops. And the reason is because this flash animation was built with an action inside of the animation that's telling it to stop. So even though in Dreamweaver we're telling it to loop, there's an action script programmed into that file to make it stop. So the only time looping would actually work is if it was a flash file that was automatically told to just run and run and run and run. Okay? The other part of that that's interesting is the W mode. And I'm going to see if I can, let's see how I can do this. I'd have to find, I'm gonna do something really fast. I'm gonna make the word flash, I'm gonna make a circle go into a star, just because I want you to understand what the W mode means. So we're jumping into flash just for a second so you can see what I'm talking about. But basically, while this is launching and it gives me the opportunity to do some explaining. This W mode is a parameter, which is a attribute, a modifier, if you want to call it that. But basically, that parameter allows the window to either appear see-through or not. Now I want to make sure I have my specifications right. 220 by 250. So I'm going to go into Flash, I'm going to create a new file, and I'm going to make it 250, what was it? Wait a second. 220 by 250. Okay, so we'll make it 220 by 250. And we see it's a white background. Now, I'm going to choose my Polystar tool, and oh, this layout is just kind of annoying. Let me go to just default. Okay, I'm going to choose my Polystar tool, and I'm going to have a star, and it's going to just come up on the stage. There's my star, and I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to get this to work just the way it's supposed to, and then we'll turn that into the word flash. And I'll just select that text, center it, and then maybe make a little change here with the color just to give it a little bit more interest. Okay, so I've got this green star, and I'm going to make it become a let's see, make it become a Word. So there, it becomes Flash. I'm going to File, go to Publish Settings, and I'm going to call this Banner 2, and I'm going to make sure that I set the window mode to transparent and Banner 2. Okay, and I just have to see where it is that I'm saving this to. I want to save it to that folder, my website, Dreamweaver Lessons 10, and I'm sure you're like, I hope this is worth it. Yes, I hope so too. Okay, so now I can quit Flash, and basically what I was wanting to show you here was how, okay, that flies in, but it's in a rectangle. It's like a JPEG. It's in a rectangle. What would happen if, let's say, let me take this banner and move it into Assets. Now go back to my Assets here, and I should see that in here. Why am I not seeing it in there? But it's not showing up in there, but I don't really care because I know I can do something about that. I'm just going to drag this banner in, and I'm going to call this banner, and I'll click on OK. And now when I play it, why did you stop? Oh, here's one of the lovely things about Flash. When you try to play it locally, it rebels. Gosh. Sure, that just stopped me in my tracks. Okay, here's what I can do anyway. We can see there's this white box around it. And what I can show you, even if I can't get this to work the way it's supposed to, is if I go here where it says W mode and I change this to transparent, then when I hit live, it's still showing the same thing. Basically, what I'm trying to show you, which I can't because it's on this local machine and my browser won't let me play it locally, is instead of it being a box, it will conform to the background of whatever's there. It'll be like a transparent ping. Let's see if I could try it and do it with Firefox. Maybe Firefox will let me. Oh, God. No, nothing will let me play Flash locally. I have to play it remotely. No, it has nothing to do with refresh. It has to do with security settings inside of the Adobe Flash player that don't allow you to play Flash files locally. So it stopped me dead in my tracks. The only way I can do that is if I, uploaded this all to a server and then we could see it there. But basically what this was supposed to show you is that when you have a your W mode set to transparent, this file, this Flash file, will act like a ping or a GIF. In other words, it would sit transparently on the background. Okay? So that's the best I can do with that. For whatever reason, let's see, is there one other way that I could do this here? Banner.html. Now, barking up the wrong tree here, so I can't do anything about that now. But the short version of what we did at first is that we can insert our Flash videos into the sidebar, and you can play them within the dialog box within Flash. But you will notice that in the scripts folder, what comes with Flash are these two sub-files, and that's probably it's in that file that it's pointing to that other the first one that has been given permission to play inside of here, because there's some script here. You know what? I'm going to try one last thing. I'm going to call this, and I'm going to call this OU sidebar add. So now let me try it one more time. There we go. Okay, so now we can actually see what I'm talking about. Right over here, I'll deselect where it says loop, because I didn't put any script to stop the looping. I'll click on play, and we see that do once. But now if I change the W mode to transparent, and we click on play, we should see that happen transparently. Transparent. Should not be a white background. Okay, but anyway, I'm moving on. Change to live. Live, yeah, let's try live. Now you see this is what's going to happen with live. Thanks for trying to help, but it's not going to work. Anyway, this is what happens when you try to improvise. Sometimes improvisations are great, other times not so much. Okay? Okay. Just give me 1 second here to take care of one thing, that there's a pressing work matter here that I'm supposed to deal with. Okay, so let's now, since we talked about putting an SWF file into here, let's talk about Flash Video for a minute. So one of the things that's nice about Flash Video, as I said earlier, is how it uses a really highly prized, it is nice to have two screens. It's really a well-respected video compression that's used very heavily. So the way I'm going to insert my Flash video is I'm going to show you those three ways again. Number one, I can say Insert, Media, and this time I could choose Flash Video. I could go to my Media menu and choose Insert Flash Video. Or I can go to my Assets panel again, choose Movies, and there's my OU_veggies.flv, and I can right-click on it, and I can choose Insert, or I can drag it to the screen. So I'm going to do it this way. And here's one of the great features of Flash and Dreamweaver working together. When I insert a Flash video, it gives me a choice of what type of skin to put around the video. So I can put a clear skin like this. I could put what's called a corona skin, or I can put a halo skin. So I have three whole sets of skins. And I can also detect the size of that Flash video. So we see that this Flash video is 400 by 300, and I can choose to autoplay it or not. Now, as a general rule of thumb, I do not the skin is the frame around the video. So what I would suggest is that you do not autoplay any multimedia, because when somebody gets to a web page and all of a sudden sound is coming from the page, that's kind of disruptive. So I usually leave these off. But I'm going to click on OK, and it puts this it puts this flash video box up on our screen. Now we're in design mode. If I go into live, there is my movie, and I can actually play it within this window. Okay, so there's, the future of shopping. Somebody's going to be scouring the vegetable aisles, and you're going to say, no, go back. Yeah, get that one. Okay, so you can see this skin has a volume control. It has a scrubber, so you can scrub the playback head to wherever you want. It's got a play, pause, and stop button. Now I'm going to go out of live view, and with this object selected, you can see I can change the skin in the properties panel. So maybe I'll try Corona skin. And then I go back into live view, and I see this skin is actually almost transparent sitting on top of the video. But you only see the skin when you roll over the video. Okay? So again, I'll go out of live view. I'll select the Swift player, make sure that I have that object selected, and I can go to the clear skin and go back into live view. And there is the clear skin sitting on top of it. So you have 3 different skinning options associated with the video. Now skinning is very common. You see it everywhere on applications, on mobile applications. It's essentially how people brand a generic product, whether it be an MP3 player or any kind of interface that lots of other people use. That's called skinning that object. Okay, so we can see, and I'll go back out of live view, and I'll go back here and choose, I'll go back to the halo skin, and then I'll go back to live view again. So we can see this is a little simpler version of the halo skin. It doesn't have all of the controls. So you have all kinds of choices with which you can insert your flash videos, all kind of choices in terms of are the skins customizable? No, not within Dreamweaver per se. You'd have to go into, you'd have to start doing some programming to do that. Okay? So yes, they are customizable, but not easily. Any of these change the size of the video download. The skin is probably, let's take a look in the Files panel now, and we should see that here's our skins. Clear skin is 8K, Corona skin is 19K, Halo skin is 10K. So they all vary from 8K to 20K. So not enough to matter exactly. Okay, so there is your kind of quick overview of putting in both Flash SWF files or putting in Flash videos. Oops, how did we get there? Exit. Come on. Firefox is like, no, don't make me exit. Don't make me exit. Instead Dreamweaver exited. So anyway, let's go back to Dreamweaver. We see there's our banner file that we were just talking about, and we were also talking about the insert video file, and we were also talking about the Flash video. So once again, here's our Flash video page. I can select Window. I can choose Assets. I can customize my screen, so I can now save this as my setup for this screen, for this workspace, and I can choose video. I can drag this flash player. I can choose what kind of skin to use, detect the size automatically. And one other thing I didn't mention is at the top here it says video type, progressive download video or streaming video. So progressive download video is the default choice, and it's really the only choice for you. And the reason is because streaming video means you're using a flash server. It's a special type of server that streams the video from the web server, and it's, you know, a very expensive proposition that really doesn't apply to us. The important thing to know about it is that what the advantage is that it protects the property of the creator more, because progressively downloaded videos are a little easier to steal. And also streaming videos, you can scrub the playback head back or scrub it forward, and it gets to it a lot faster. Again, this is something that there's really nothing that you can do to protect yourself. If you have some, you know, highly prized video content, then you can always make it available on a link for download for pay or something like that. But I will insert the video now. I will select live view, and there's our video, and it can play. So at this point, are there any questions about the Flash SWF files or the Flash video files? Corey says no. I'm just going to try it. Not yet. Okay, good. Good, good, good. It says no. Okay, somebody raised their hand. I don't see who. There's no hand there. Why is that? Okay, so good. So we're all good on that. Now let's talk about inserting other types of video. So of course, there are other types of video besides Flash video. The clear advantage of the Flash video is how nicely it plays with Dreamweaver, how you can put that skin around it, etc. What if you were going to use a different video format, like maybe an MOV file or a WMV file? So let's talk about those two. MOV stands for movie or QuickTime movie, and it's the default file type on the Mac operating system. WMV stands for Windows Media Video, and it is the default file size. It is the default file type for video on the Windows operating system. So if we were going to insert those videos, we would do it just slightly different. If I choose Veggie Movie, I could go to my Assets panel, and I could choose Insert. Now, are there other ways to do it? If I choose Insert Media, I don't see that type of choice there. What I do see is the choice for a plugin, and at which point I could go to the Assets panel and I could choose Veggie Movie and then put it in that way. Okay? But the way I suggest that you do it with both WMV files and MOV files is you go to your Assets panel, you right-click, you choose Insert. And what it does is it puts a plugin onto your page, and it puts it at a default size of 32 by 32. So the obvious disadvantages of QuickTime and WMV when working with Dreamweaver is that it doesn't detect the file size. You have to know, the dimensions. You have to know the dimensions. In this case, it's 320 by 240. And once you put those dimensions in, you'll see you also can't customize the skin. I can put a border around it, And you can see that when I play it, it will play, and it does have a little skin at the bottom. So because of the fact that it has that default skin, one of the things I'll need to do is to adjust the height to about 250. So I change the height to 250. I hit play again. And now I see there's this playback bar at the bottom of the screen. But you can see you do a little more futzing around when it comes to this, because you have to make adjustments without having any access to any kind of skinning. Okay? I'm going to go back out of live view, and I'm going to actually select it and delete it. And I'm going to do the same thing with veggies.wmv. I'll choose insert. I'll set it to 320 by 255 to accommodate the skin. I will now click on live. Okay, this one doesn't want to play live. Okay, that's all right. So instead, I'll click on preview. Okay, no plugin is available for this display content. So here's another thing about working with Windows Media video files. It doesn't come by default, whereas all browsers include the Flash plugin, and many browsers include the QuickTime plugin. Most browsers do not include the Windows Media Video plugin. So there are some obvious downsides to working with Windows Media files. And we can see that even though the book makes you think that it's all going to work seamlessly, when it comes to Windows Media files, that clearly is not the case. So I go back here, I can see that I've got that plugin, and what you can do is you can set up the URL for somebody to find this plugin. So I'm going to improvise again, because even though this file doesn't work from the book the way the book has it set up, you'll want to know, well, how do you make it work? And I'm going to try to just do that on the fly with you. This is what I would suggest that you do. You type in plugin URL Windows Media Player. So you see Windows Media Player Firefox plugin, right? So I click on this, and I can, let's see, this is the FLV player, Firefox plugin. Download the Firefox plugin. Oh, this is video player, Flash video player. Let's see. Again, this is what happens when we try to get this stuff to work, using the Windows Media Player control, embedding the player control in a web page displayed by Firefox. So we can see there's a bunch of adjustments that you have to make when it comes to working with the Windows Media Player, right? And here is the, here's a page that gives you some of the adjustments that you have to, let's call it workarounds for Windows Media Player. Now I'm going to provide you with this link, but to me, when I think about this as I'm talking about it, the best workaround for Windows Media Player is not to use it. Use something that everybody uses, like Flash Video. I'm going to show you one other little sneaky peeky thing here, and that has to do with what's available in this very newest version of Dreamweaver that's available on the cloud. And that is when you have an HTML5 page. So I'm going to convert this page to HTML5 for a minute. Okay? And That's right. The best workaround is just not to use it. I am fully in agreement with that. So I've changed this page to an HTML5 page. You see on line 1 it says doc type HTML. And by the way, how did I do that? Very easy. I select File, Convert, and you can convert your DTD or document type declaration to whichever type you want. And you'll see that there's this great new feature in the Common tab if you've got the cloud version of Dreamweaver CS6. I can click on this to insert a video, and I'll say 320 by 240, and I'll say my source is this. Oh yeah, it's looking for an MP4. Oh, I'm going to do this for you anyway because I'm not. The world of web design is not just sitting there and playing with Dreamweaver. You have to know lots of other things. So hopefully this is helpful for you, and this is real-world workflow. I don't sit there and use Dreamweaver all the time. If a client says to me, I have to put a video in here and I want it to be HTML5, then what I have to do is I have to take one of these assets, whether it be a movie or a WMV or an FLV, and I have to convert it to an open source file type like an MP4, which is the type of video that is being used the most these days in terms of open source videos. So one of the things that you get with your CS6 suite is this thing called Adobe Media Encoder. And what it will do is it will take almost any file type, any video file type, and convert it to another file type. So I'm going to go to this Adobe Media Encoder and point to my Dreamweaver Lessons folder, Lesson 10, go to my Assets, choose Veggies Movie, click on Open, and I'm going to say, you know, I want this to be output as an MP4. Okay, so I choose MPEG-4, and I choose Start Queue. And it created that file. And if I go to my Files panel, I go to the local view, I should see that new movie. Did you put it in here? Yep, right there. Veggies. There it is, right there. Veggies underscore 1.3GP. And we'll just leave the name just as it is. So let's see what happens now. I choose this video holder that I put in here. I point to my assets folder, and I find there's Veggie 1. 3GP. And now, when I click on Live, and I click on Play, well, let's see, do I have to do this in Preview in Chrome? Let's try that. Well, there's the video holder. It's not showing our movie, so I might have to spend some time troubleshooting why that is. But the thing that's important to just be aware of here is that I can insert video, and this is HTML5 video, so I'd have to choose Insert HTML5 Video, and I can put that right on the page. Now, it could very well be that converting this page from its XHTML 1.0 is causing some kind of problem. But I'm going to try it one more time and see what other sources that it's looking for. It's looking for MP4s, M4Vs, 3GPs. I'll do one more conversion here. I'll again just add the veggies, and this time I'll choose to convert it to, what was that, OGG, I think it was. Okay, let's try it like that and click on play. Okay, I'll go back and there's veggie underscore veggies.3gp. I'll try to point to that one now. Yeah, that one looks like it's better. And I'll change the size to 320 by 240. And I'll click on Live. Oh, it's still doing the same thing. So we're not able to see this fully operational. This is kind of the future, though. HTML5 videos are going to be up on your web pages. Yes, these are things to look forward to while working as a web designer. Absolutely. Of course, you could, you know, be outside all day and do construction, I guess. I'd rather be troubleshooting this, personally. So the important thing, though, like everything's not going to be successful, but you have to walk away from this seeing what's the takeaway. The takeaway is that the Adobe Media Encoder, which comes with your CS suite, will enable you to convert 1 million file types, all kinds of various movie file types, into other movie file types. Okay? And that prepares you for working with HTML5, which really wants you to be using these various file types: MP4s, M4Vs, etc. I'm going to try one more just because I would love to make this work, and I know I have some M4Vs someplace. So I'm going to just try one other thing here, see if I can find an M4V for you. Let's see. I know I can do this. Because if I had a nice little M4V, then that could play in here very nicely, I bet. There's an MP4. Okay, let's put that right here. Save. Okay, let's see if this one works. Oh, look at that. There it goes. Okay, so here's what's really cool about this, and I'm going to keep going with this because you're going to see something else. You'll see with the HTML5 insert video, it also asks you for a poster. So, for example, let's see if I was just looking at this like this for a second. Okay, I can take a little picture. I'm going to use a little software that I have here called Snagit. So now you know what I actually really do. I use 10 million different programs at all times. Okay, so I'm going to take this little picture. I'm going to go save. I'm going to save that into my folder and call it poster.jpg, and then I can exit this program and get out of live view, and I can now select this and say, okay, what poster do you want to see something on the screen before somebody plays the video. So we go back to our website, we go back to the lesson and point to that poster. And now when I hit live, well, let's make sure it doesn't play automatically. Controls, yes. No, I guess I can have it on autoplay. So I'll preload it, and I'll save it. And then look, I can either do a even do a flash fallback. So if for some reason the let's see, where is the veggies? Right there. If for some reason the MP4 file didn't play as we expect, we can give it a fallback to point to an to point to a flash video file. So now I save this, and there's that screenshot that we are talking about. That is a poster of the, basically that picture that I just took. So when somebody comes to the web page, they already see a picture, and then they can click on play, and then the movie can start. Okay? So again, let me just walk through that process again, because I was vamping for you guys. I was just playing. Hold on one second, please. I'm sorry about this, but this is crazy work stuff. Okay. Okay, yeah, this work stuff, but we're going to keep on working here, doing what we're supposed to do. So I'm going to go through that whole process again, because I want you to understand how some of these controls are only available with the cloud version. And I think on the Adobe website they'll be talking soon about when they're going to roll out an update for the people who installed their version. I'll give you, basically, sorry, I've tried to keep an eye on the chat window, and sometimes that distracts me. So what I'm saying is that the people who got the hard copy, the CD, and installed their CS6 suite via CD, they're like, wait a second, I don't see this kind of stuff in here. And that's true. If you look at the Common tab, and I'll even set this up in Designer View, you'll see here is the Insert menu. And you see there's some choices like this HTML5 video, like this canvas. These are choices that are not available, and like this head viewport. None of those choices are available in the original version of CS6. So they pushed out an update that's only available to people who have purchased their software via the cloud. So with that in mind, and understanding that not everybody has these choices, the way you put your HTML5 video in is, first of all, it has to be in an HTML5 document. So I went to File, Convert, and I chose HTML5, and it converted this page to HTML5. So basically the doc type is now an HTML5 document. Okay. I then go back into Dreamweaver. I click on Insert Video. It places a box there. Again, I have to know the size of my file in terms of its dimensions. So I type in those numbers. I point to my source files, and my source file has to be, it says that 3GP works, but we experimented and 3GP did not work, but MP4 does work, and I can select that MP4 file. And then I want to create a poster that's the same size as that MP4 video, or whichever video type that you're working with for HTML5. And I want to create a poster that's like the first screen that you see when you get to the movie usually, or at least the one that you think is most interesting. So you create a poster, and then you can even link to a Flash fallback file just in case you run into problems with your stuff not working. Then you want to give it some title, text over here, and you can choose to make sure to show the controls, whether or not you want it to loop. You do want to preload it, so some of that data is already preloaded onto the page, so when somebody clicks on the play button, something actually happens. And then you save it, you preview it in a browser, and we have a movie that can play. Okay? And then the cool thing about this is that with this control, I can select this video, and I can go into my Styles panel. I'm going to reset this to the way I usually like to work. I can now go into my Styles panel, and with this video selected, I could create a new CSS rule, and then I'm going to just click on OK, because the thing that I want to do with this rule is I want to apply some, what is it called, some curves. So because of the fact that I never, border radius, right, that's what I want to do. So I want to select that again, and I can add a property here. I can call it border radius. And then I can set my border radius like that. And then to accommodate all the different browsers, I'd have to do dash WebKit dash border radius, and do the same thing. And then I'd have to actually do Mozilla dash border radius dash Moz dash border dash radius, and then also type in 8px. Okay, so now just with that little addition, I would see this. Darn it. I'm going to drop it into a div. Let's do that, because I know I can make this work. Let's go in. And this is really how you find most designers and developers working. Let's see, where did it pop that border radius thing? Let's go to code. Yeah, there's the border radius. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a div, and I'm going to call it vid holder, and I'm going to wrap it around this selection, and I'm going to apply that styling to vid holder instead of the video. Where's that video now? Video. Oh, it's in here. Okay. So if I did this correctly, let's see what will happen now. Okay, I'm just about got this vid holder doing what I expect it to do. So I'm going to choose vid holder. I have to go to code view again because even though I'm calling this, oh, it's a dot vid holder. Okay, refresh. Okay, now I want to add one more property to this, which is the width. Set it to 320 and click on apply. Now I go back to design view and I click on preview. Okay, I am so close to making this work, and the Chrome is the problem with Chrome. Remember, there's 3 lines of code that I have associated with this vid holder now: Moz border radius, WebKit border radius, and border radius. And let's see in live view. Yeah, in live view it's not showing either. I should have a border radius around here. But the idea is that you can make your curved corners on just about any object, and it should include that object. Again, I'm doing some playing and it doesn't always work. As a matter of fact, today it doesn't seem to work much of the time. But we did see that with inserting video, you have multiple choices. You've got your flash video, you've got your plugin which works with Windows, with QuickTime Movies, and then you've got your HTML5 video which only works with HTML5 pages. So let's see. That takes care of talking about video. Questions about video? My question, of course, is why didn't that corner radius work? No questions about video. Okay, why don't we do this? It's 11 o'clock. We're going to take a 10-minute break. It'll give me a chance to see if I can get some of these things that I expected to work. We'll come back in 10 minutes, and we'll wrap up our conversation about sounds, and I'll deal with any other issues that you may have. So let's take 10 minutes now, and we'll start back at 11:10. Okay, so before we left, I was having some issues with trying to show you how you can do great things with the video, HTML5 video. And what I wanted to show you is that indeed that is true. You just have to work it a little bit. So I have my video right here. I put that into a little div, which is just a box, right, called video holder. I then set my video holder to contain a couple of lines of styling that I will show you right here. Border radius, which is CSS3 styling. WebKit border radius, which is CSS3 styling, making sure that both Chrome and Safari play nicely. Moz border radius, which makes sure that Firefox plays nicely. So when you use CSS3, the takeaway is that you have to add additional vendor-specific code. Then I created a width to that box and a height to that box that makes the video sit inside of it. And then I put a nice border around it and some padding in there. As a result of putting this div with these styles and inserting the video inside of that style, when I click on live now, you'll see that I've got this nice rounded corner frame here. And I could play the video inside of the movie. Okay? So that's how you can work with um, inserting videos and then putting it into your own little container like the one that I just created. Now you'll notice that the video is still square. There is no styling that you can apply to the video tag that will do anything about that. There might be something that you can do with some transparencies or something, but I haven't, explored that deeply. Other things you can obviously do are, since the video is black, you can make it look more like what you expect to see by saying, okay, I'm going to set the background to be that color. And then when I click on apply, now it's starting to look like, oh, so that's really what you wanted to kind of see, right? And also, other things that I can do to approximate that look is even make my border thicker. So I can go to border, and instead of it being medium, I can set it to be thick. I might want to put some kind of groove to it, and then click on OK. And then when I preview it, I should see something kind of cool looking, right? So it's getting closer to looking like the video is completely blended in. Okay? So those are all of the things that we want to understand about video. We've got flash videos. Those are FLV files. And let's pull up this assets panel so you can see this. And all of our assets are not showing in there. There we go. These are our flash. No, where's our flash videos? There. We've got flash videos. We've got QuickTime movies. We've got veggies. And this assets panel is not recognizing those other types of video files, but these are indeed video files that you should be aware of. You've also got 3GP videos, which is commonly what's used inside of like iPads, iPhones, etc. You've got MP4 videos, which is the open source file type that's cross-platform compatible. Okay, so those are some of the many video file types, and when you deal with cutting-edge stuff, it does bleed. You have to experiment quite a lot and see what works and which browsers it works, etc., etc. But that's part of the fun as well. Okay, any questions about the videos at all? Because I'm just kind of covering lots of different video aspects, and if there's any feedback that you want to give me, this would be fine. Okay. Yes, that's fine. So I'm going to talk to you now about inserting sound. So sound is another element you can use to enhance your website, and it has the same considerations as video. Not only can it take a while to download and it requires a plugin, but it's also as challenging to work with as the videos, in the sense that it doesn't work as often as the movie file types. Audio file types also have very similar issues. And I personally am not a fan of putting an audio file on a web page. If you're going to use audio, that's what Flash is for. It's just a lot easier. So I'm going to take this out of here, and I'm going to now say insert media. Where is media hiding? And I'm going to choose plugin, and I'm going to choose this audio file, and I have to again give it a size. So I'm going to say the width is like 200. Okay? Actually, I'm going to make it even 300. And if I go into live view, I should see at least a player. Okay, let's preview it in Chrome. There's our little file. So it looks like we need a larger, a greater width here. So we'll set the height to 100. Okay, and I click, and I can click on Preview in Chrome. And we can see right there that audio file playing. So, putting in audio is really, again, something that I don't often do. If I was going to use audio files, I would bake it into my Flash SWF or a Flash video. And there are lots of custom MP3 players out there that you can do that with. But in this case, what we did was we simply said insert plugin, insert media, and then chose plugin. Okay? So then, of course, one of the things you do have to consider is this URL, where can user get the plugin? And that requires work on your part. You have to go out there and find out what's the file type. It's an MP3 file, and what plugin each browser needs. So then you have to put that URL in here, and if the person doesn't have that, they'll get something showing up on their screen that says, you don't have the proper plugin for this, but this is where you go to get it. Okay? So that's a little talk about inserting video. The other thing that you can do with the video, by the way, is you can adjust the parameters. You can type in like autoplay, and you can set the autoplay value to either true or false. So if I type in true, and then I clicked on this, then when I preview this, it should automatically play. There it goes. Whereas if I come back here and I look at the parameters and I change that to false, click on OK, save it, publish it again. Let's refresh. That shouldn't be doing that. But of course it would, because I was showing you. Let's change this autoplay to uppercase. And click on OK. And let me go into code view to see, maybe put it in twice. Autoplay equal false. Okay. That says autoplay equal false. I'll save it. I'll preview it one more time and see if it was just stuck in the Chrome cache. Yes. So now we can see it's not playing. And that shows you something else. One of the things about Chrome is that certain aspects of web pages get stuck in the Chrome data cache. So even if you have done the right thing, like I did with changing autoplay to false, Chrome holds on to this old information. And what you have to do with Chrome particularly is you have to go into your Chrome settings and you have to use tools and clear your browsing data. It's because for some reason Chrome just gets this stuff stuck, and we clear that browsing data, and now when I go back to that page, and I hit refresh, oh, it's still doing it. So, but we saw already that when I'm going to exit out of Chrome altogether because we see that in Firefox it's doing the right thing. Autoplay is set to false and it's not playing. Whereas in Chrome, for whatever reason, and I usually find that it's related to that cache not being emptied out, it seems to be playing the file even though the autoplay is set to false. And that's still happening. So the vagaries and the inconsistencies of the various browsers have once again bit me. Okay? Well, that's just how it is. So that is our overall view of dealing with media file types inside of web pages, whether it be the audio files or the video files. There are various elements that you need to just examine, and we've examined some of them today. So let me go to our homework page and make sure that we are all on the same page in that regard. Waiting for the spinning. Okay. So we've talked about Flash, QuickTime, and Media Player. We've talked about inserting sounds. I'm going to talk to you now, and we're going to wrap this up with introducing templates, because so far tonight, this morning, nobody's really had any questions about the video or the audio. So I'm going to talk about templates. So, templates. This subject that I'm bringing up a week before your midterm is due is not going to affect your midterm at all, but it is going to change how you work when it comes to your final project. But I want to give you just a heads up on that because it's a big topic and you want to be aware of how to work with templates. So I'm going to go to Dreamweaver and I'm going to close this page, and I'm going to close this page, and I'm going to actually create a new folder within my Dreamweaver lessons. Actually, I'll create this new folder within my Intro to Dreamweaver website. So, Introduction to Dreamweaver, this is where we've got all of our homeworks, etc., etc. And we've created these pages. Many of them were based on this index page. The idea that we'd have two columns, fixed, etc., etc., right? Now, one of the things that we've learned how to do is place a sidebar image. And let's see if I have any sidebar images here. Doesn't look like I do, but that's okay. We can easily create one. And I can click here and see my width is 180 and my padding, there's no padding, so I need to create a 180 pixel width sidebar image. And the color of that sidebar image has to be ADB96E. So I'm going to do that because then I'm going to show you how we're going to take this page and convert it into a template, and then how we can build all these pages from it. So I go File, New. I'm in Photoshop, and I create a 180 pixel wide thingy, and I want to get that ADB96E. Click on my foreground, ADB96E, and I create a color chip and save it into my Intro to Dreamweaver images folder. We'll call it left sidebar. Okay, then I can exit out of Dreamweaver. I'll go into my container, and I'll say my container has to include a background image of left sidebar, and it's going to repeat along the y-axis, and it's going to start at left top, and I'll click on apply, and then it continues down into there. I can see this one paragraph here is inside, this image is inside of something that's not hyperlinked, which is kind of what's causing this box to not be the same color as all the rest of the boxes. Okay, yeah, there's my problem there. We're going to change that to that. Okay, so we have this sidebar here that now looks like this. Okay, it continues all the way down. Okay, our link color is slightly different. We could always adjust that if we wanted to, but we've got, you know, a basic layout. Now, let's say I wanted to make a couple more page changes to this. Let's say I want to insert something in here, like a logo. So I would probably choose Insert Image, and I've got some various header images here. I click on OK. And this one says homework 4. That might not be the best choice, but yeah, let me find another one because we want this to be as kind of realistic as possible. So the good thing about this is that you don't have to, this is another part of the process of typical workflow. All of your assets aren't always where you want them to be. I can go outside of this website. Dreamweaver knows which website I'm working within. I can go outside of this website and go find a file that I'm particularly interested in using. Let's say I want to use this one. And I put that in, and now I've got something that blends nicely in here. And Dreamweaver should have copied it automatically to my images folder, which is exactly what it did. If it doesn't automatically copy it for you, it will ask you, do you want to copy this over there now? So now I've put this header image in, and by looking at it, I see, well, you know, I don't like that color as much as maybe a little bit lighter, so I go like that. And now I'm starting to like the look of it a little bit, so I can save it. But let's say I want to use this design over and over. And let me take some of this content out of here just because it's easier to see when there's a lot, it's a little less, we can see the whole screen, right? So here I've got my basic layout to my page. And I know that based on the midterm project that there are some common areas like the header, the footer, and the sidebar. And there are some areas that I want to change the content on every page. Those are the unique content areas. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to select this page, and I'm going to say File, Save as Template. Okay? And you'll notice something happen when I do this. It says, what site do you want to save this template into? And I choose Intro to Dreamweaver. And I'm going to save this as default page. Okay? And I'll say to call fixed center. And I click on save. It says update links, and I say yes. And now what happens here is that in Dreamweaver, it automatically, I didn't do this, it automatically created a folder called templates, which by the way is an uppercase T. I don't know why they did that. But anyway, it created, when I said file save as template, it automatically puts it into this template folder. So now I have this page called default page.dwt. It's not an HTML file. It's a template file that's specific to Dreamweaver. Well, what's the importance of this so far? None. But here's where it becomes interesting. I decide that on this site, I know that my header text is going to be different on various pages, but I always want it to be in the heading of H1. So I'm going to say insert template editable region, and I'll call this heading. And then I'm going to take all of the rest of the text and I'm going to say insert template editable region, and I'll call it content. So I've got these two new things, this heading and this content. Now my sidebar, I haven't done anything to yet. My footer, I haven't done anything to. And my header, I haven't done anything to. And that's exactly my plan. So I'm going to just save this page. And here's where it gets interesting. I'm going to now go File, New. And I'm going to choose Page from Template. And it says, oh, you've got this default page that's a template. Do you want to create a page from it? And I say yes. And notice I can't do anything to the sidebar or to the header or to the footer. These elements are locked in the template. But what I can do is say change my header information and then change my content information and just put it right in here. So then I'll save this, and I'll save it as based on template 1. Okay? And then I say, you know what? I'm going to create a whole site. So I'm going to say new, page from template, create. And I'll say this is my second page, and I'll say File, Save, and we'll call this based on template 2. And I'll do one more. Close this one, close this one. I'll go File, New, Page from Template, Default Page, Create. Select the text, change it with, provide other information there, and File, Save, and based on template 3. So basically what we've just done is we've created 3 pages that are based on this template. Right? Now, what's powerful about that is the following. We say, hey, oh, geez, we didn't change this footer information. We don't want that footer information. We want in the footer the developer of the website and insert your where is character? Yeah. Insert copyright, and then we want to make that right justified, and we want that type color to be dark green, and we want the background color to be white for now. And we'll go back to the type color and make it way darker. And we'll go to that background color and make it a bit lighter, but not green, but not white. Well, let's just go with this, so there's a little more consistency. There we go. We've changed that, and we've also decided that this here is going to say home. This is going to say about us. This is going to say services, and this is going to say contact. Okay? Now, I'm thinking, oh geez, I made these changes to this template. What happens now is when I go Control S for save, it says, well, do you want to update all the files that are based on this template? And I say, by all means, update. And it updates those 3 files. So now when I open up based on template 1, look, it says home, about us, services, contact. It has my text information on the right-hand side in the footer. Same thing, second page. Same thing, third page. So basically what we see is when you create a template, it's a master copy. And the areas within the template that are locked are ones that you have not added an editable region to. So I create a page, I don't do anything to the header or the sidebar or the footer, and that means those sections are locked. If I want to make certain regions editable, I select those regions and I choose Modify, Template, Add Editable Region. Right? So if I, let's say, selected some text, and I would choose actually Modify Template, yeah, I would have to remember where, let's say if I wanted to make this editable. Do I insert or do I modify this? Yes. I'm sorry, not modify. You select Insert, Template, Editable Region. So every time you insert an editable region, it means the text in that region can be changed on the individual pages. But the portions that are not editable, when you update your template page, all of the pages based on the template will be updated as well. So that's the basic overview of templates. Again, the path, the workflow to that is I've got a page, whatever page it is. I set it up just the way I want. I choose File, Save as Template. It then puts that page into a templates folder that Dreamweaver creates. And then I can choose, I open up that template and I apply editable regions to it. So let's say if down over here, I'm going to go to Code View for a second and see that I've got home, about, contact, and then I'm going to put in another paragraph. And I'm going to say other stuff. So I'll go here to design view. And let's say maybe I always want to have a different picture that shows up over here. So I can insert an image that comes from this website, and there's my images, and I have this little COM bug, right? And I say COM. Okay, and every page I'm going to have a different image that shows up here. So what I'd have to do is select it, insert, template, editable region, and I'll call it sidebar image. And now I click on Save. And I click on OK, and I update my pages based on that. And now each of those pages has that image in it, but I can swap those images out for other images because this is an editable region. So the cool thing about templates is that I can choose which portions are going to be locked down, and when I change those, all of the pages based on that template will be locked down with it. I can choose which sections are editable, and when I choose those, all of the pages based on that template will have that editable region within it, but will allow me to swap it out for whatever else I want to swap it out for. Okay? So that's a basic overview of templates. Now, next week, you'll see that we spend a lot of time on templates. So we don't have to cover it with any greater intensity today. That I just want you to get a good introduction to templates. Now I'm going to mention to you a little about the Class 9 homework. That's homework 7.html. This is really easy. You're going to open up homework 5 and change the text in the header and the value of the title tag to Class 9 homework 7 and save it as HW7. You're going to answer the questions from the homework 7 examples page. There's my homework 7 examples page. And I have to make a little adjustment with that because this should be in the sidebar. I don't know how that happened, but it's easy to fix. And then you're going to resave and upload the pages to your server. And you're going to complete and upload your midterm project. Now you'll notice that in that examples page, I didn't ask you to include a flash video. You've got a midterm project to deal with. If you want to add a flash video to the sidebar, that's great, but it's not required for the homework assignment. The idea for this next week is I really want to make sure that you nail your midterm project. And this homework 7 is just a bit of a review of what we covered in lesson 10. You'll also need to review these flash study notes, which talk about flash and flex movies, as well as talking about flash video. So it's a pretty straightforward low-stress homework assignment for next week, but that's okay because you've got your real work, which is completing and uploading your midterm project. So it's 11:46. At this point, I am opening the floor to any questions that you may have. Questions? No questions, just a lot of work to do. Yes, that's true. Okay, good. So if there are no questions, we will wrap it up for today. I will see you all online next week. I do anticipate there will be some questions about the midterm project. My pleasure. Make sure that if you do have questions that you utilize my office hours, my online office hours tomorrow, also my face-to-face office hours on Tuesdays. thank you all for coming. I'm not going to apologize for a little bit of the kind of this didn't work, that didn't work. I really actually want to congratulate you for understanding that that's really how we work. When we're working, we try different things and we see that this doesn't work. Okay, now let's try the 3GP because that's supposed to be a video file type that HTML5 understands. Oh, that didn't work. Now we have to try the MP4. That's the real way that we work. And as long as it's like everything else, as long as you are willing to approach things and say, what if, oh, that didn't work? Okay, now let me try this. Oh, now let me try this. You try a bunch of different things because you don't always have a, nobody hires you to be a web designer and says, here's a book. Go to lesson 11 and make it look like that. No, they say, I want a web page, I want a website, and I want it to look like this, and then you embark upon that journey. And especially when you're working in the world of web design, but many other creative endeavors, it's always a trial and error. Okay, and on that philosophical note, I will end our video for today. Thanks so much for coming, and I'll see you all next week.